Hey there, this is Jess.
And this is John.
And we're the Relationship Revivalists. And we want to say thank you for watching these videos each day and sticking it out with us as we explore the topic of love. And so today we want to go further in the topic about love. And yesterday we talked about love versus fear, and we said be sure to tune in today to today's video because we're going to kind of put it together and explain why did we go through love versus fear.
And before we get any further, I want to remind you, if you haven't downloaded the PDF yet that we have for you, amazing PDF. It will go through and give you some life-changing, relationship-changing skills for your relationship. I will put the link in the description and download it. It's a quick read, but it's power packed with awesome stuff for your relationship.
Absolutely. Thanks, John. That was perfect.
Yes. And so while we're on the third day here, I also want to remind you to go back and to listen to number 2, where we talked about love versus fear. It'll give you a basis, and you could even go back to the first one of the week and that one, and then the second one. It'll give you a basis of where we're coming from, where we're going, and we're basically going to tell you a little bit of,
So when we think about love versus fear, and when we really think about what mindset are we when we react, right? So let's think about how we relate to our significant others. And so I'm going to think about how I relate to John. John will think about how he relates to me, and you think the same for your relationship too. So when I react in a way that I'm not really happy about later that I reacted, just kind of lashed out or just given a quick kind of sharp answer, I have to think about what kind of mindset was I in when I reacted that way to John. Was I operating out of love? No. Or was I operating out of fear? Yes.
This is almost a skill that needs to be learned and practiced, to actually take and think about what just happened, step outside of yourself and analyze what happened, so that you can step back inside of yourself and say, okay, this just happened, and I either need to apologize or I need to press in. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's really good. Thanks for sharing that. That was perfect, John. But yeah, and you might think, analyze your relationship. Well, yeah, just like anything that you would think about, oh, how could I have done this better? Relationship goes the same way, So there are times where I have answered John sharply or lashed out, or just I felt like, why did I make it such a big deal? Well, then it's because I reacted out of fear. And usually when you think about it and you go to the root of why you lashed out that way or why you reacted that way, it's usually because of something that happened to you, maybe a long time ago, maybe when you were a child, or a belief system that it felt like your significant other was kind of pushing against, whether your belief system is right or not.
Yeah.
And so those are some things to think about. Usually doesn't take that long to think about.
Yeah.
And especially when you bring God into it, when you bring love into the situation, and you ask God, why did I lash out that way? Why did I react that way? And then you give it to Him. Usually doesn't take very long, and then something pops in your mind. It's like, oh, that's exactly why.
Mind blown. Yeah.
Yeah, and then whether the other person was right or not, then you can come back to that topic, to that discussion with a better mentality about it. And then you can more easily explain why you lashed out that way. And maybe they need to, ask for forgiveness too, and maybe you need to as well. But I think it's really important. And the more we analyze our relationships, I think the easier it is to stay in the mindset of love.
Yeah, and from a guy's perspective, when I'm dealing with Jessica, and there are times where I get frustrated with her, and I'll just think, wow, how do I explain something? For instance, today I was frustrated because I was trying to explain something to her, and it just kept going down a path I didn't really want to go down to. So I had to take a step outside of myself and say, how do I make this easier? How do I make this so that I'm not going to go into a point where we're going to end up just at each other's throats? And, you know, that's where, when I was talking to earlier about you got to take a step outside of yourself and analyze how does this work out better? Not everyone's wired like that. I know there's different personality traits. But if you can possibly just sit there and like analyze what you're doing, it will make your life, your relationships so much better and so much easier. I mean, God meant things for us to have awesome relationships. That's why we're here. We're learning relationship. So I think as we wrap things up today, we're on to video number 4 of the week, and
next time,
that is going to be an amazing video, and you want to definitely watch for it. It's going to be out tomorrow, so we want to see you there. Don't forget, we are going to put this thing out around in the morning time for us on the West Coast. Remember, download the PDF, and we will see you in the morning time tomorrow.
See you soon.